Okay, what's good there, YouTube? What's good? Let's get into today's one. Okay, so I guess for today, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be kind of doing a recap of our entire trading month. So, the month of April, we'll just be going through, I guess, the trades. So, this was kind of okay, so market just closed. For context, market has just closed, and I was going through this entire process on my own, and then I realized that okay, since I am trying to, I guess in a sense, revive the YouTube channel, let me be transparent in my processes. This is part of one of the things that I do every month. Obviously, I do it every week, but every week is very shallow. Every month, I do go through, and I obviously you gotta go through and look at your trading performance, look at all of the trades that you took, rethink about the context that you were in, what you were thinking about. Obviously, because remember that this is a performance activity, you're obviously spotting yourself, or at least in doing this, in going through like our monthly review, obviously, of our trades, we're not only going through the positions, like the exact black and white, the numbers that we ended up making for the month, but then at the same time we're also thinking about what were we thinking, what did we think the market was going to do, what was our thinking, how did we adjust our thinking based off what actually happened, because this is a performance activity, things are always changing. I always want to look at the context as to okay, this is how I look at the market, this is how I understand things, and this is what is actually going on. Is the market constantly proving me right in certain cases? Is the market constantly proving me wrong in certain cases? What environments am I seeming to be more profitable in? What environments has the market been in itself? It's like, oh, I'm basically just going through everything that I can possibly go through to make myself a better trader on that next trading opportunity. Anyway, let's get into things from the beginning of last month. Okay, so our first trades of that month were kind of nice trades. Do I want to start drawing on my charts? Maybe. Okay. So the context that we had in this case was we were looking at a resistance over there. Price action broke that resistance, and then obviously we had a corrective structure. So within this corrective structure, what we were looking at targeting was the highs of this corrective structure over there. So on obviously a smaller time frame, targeting those highs, we managed to involve ourselves in one pullback, obviously to the high of that pullback. We waited for another retracement, and then obviously to the next high of that second retracement, completing this entire move from the corrective structure all the way obviously to the 90% rule of that corrective structure to the resistance area. That kept basically, so these two trades were basically just one trade idea that we basically broke up into two different trading opportunities based off however the structure developed in that case. Cool. Those are our first nice trading opportunities. So we opened the month off very nice. Then obviously our next three trading opportunities were three L's. So we took this L obviously thinking that, or at least what I was looking at was, I was looking at an overall impulsive structure on our left. Let's get this drawing tool. So I was looking at this overall impulsive structure on the left, and obviously this was a value area inside of that corrective structure for any impulsive move. Obviously, if this is an impulsive move and this is a corrective structure, the highest value should have been somewhere around there, and obviously that was the trading opportunity. The English. That was the trading opportunity that we were looking at over there. That obviously failed. We had to obviously reevaluate, see how the market developed. We obviously blew through the top. This next trading opportunity was, I think, based off a zone that we had of this overall bigger impulsive structure over there. That one there didn't, or maybe we could have better managed our stop loss area, maybe to have been involved in that trading opportunity. But fair enough, we're okay because the market didn't really follow through on that opportunity. Anyway, our overall thinking, or at least my overall thinking in this case, was market, or at least the price action. Wait, where's this drawing tool? Let's get the drawing tool quickly. At least price action did break back below this resistance area over there, and obviously we did see some momentum on a smaller time frame pushing price action away from this resistance. So this next trading opportunity was trading a reversal obviously of something like that, and then hoping that price action was going to continue obviously because of the overall context. At that time we thought that price action was creating some sort of a corrective structure like this, yeah, that being the low, this being the high, I think something like that. That's what we were looking at. That's why we took that next trading opportunity. Obviously price action then developed. Now I want you guys to notice, since we're looking back at things, and I guess we can take a little bit of a broader view on what happened. Let's do this. Cool, we've cleared our charts. There we go. If you guys can see what happened after we had a very nice opener, obviously two good trades, that was basically one trading opportunity. Then we took 3 L's in a row. After we took these 3 L's in a row, I kind of did sit on my hands for a while. I think this was like a good 3 or 4 days of just doing nothing. And obviously, yes, don't get me wrong, there were a lot of trading opportunities that we did see inside of the development of this price action, but we just never got triggered on any one of those trading opportunities. Not like we weren't trading or weren't looking at the market anyway, but there was a long period of us basically not really being involved in anything. And I guess that is also part of us recentering ourselves. Obviously, after taking 3 losses, we don't want to be trading in a sense of we're trying to make back the money that we just lost, or whatever the case is. This was basically also our mental, I guess, our mental break from being involved and making decisions based off money. Anyway, when we did next eventually get a trading opportunity, we obviously had to wait for a little bit of context over there. The context that we got from the market was, at this point in time, was that we had broken resistance over there, albeit not too impulsive, but nonetheless we did have a corrective structure over there and a nice momentum shift as well. That's also obvious on a 4 hour, that we rode all the way to the top. And then at the top, obviously we had a order set of a higher time frame resistance over there. I think some momentum shift, something like over there. And obviously that gave us the opportunity to the downside. This trading opportunity that we managed to catch over there, we managed our trade obviously for that max profit over there, but our actual targets were down here, where price action eventually ended up going, albeit we took a very long time to get there because of this overall corrective structure over there. Probably we would have managed and been out of this position anyway, somewhere inside of that chop, if we didn't manage to get out of the position over there. So otherwise, let me clear the charts just so we got some neat charts as we keep going on in the month. Cool. Then anyway, we flipped our bias over here. Yeah, hey, when I took this L, my thought process in the middle of taking this L was that, geez, I rushed. I was so quick to flip a bias. But then eventually the English was on the charts, guys. Like every reason, everything that we every decision that we made, I can still show you guys exactly the English why we took those trading opportunities. So I think, based off the context of that time frame and at that time, I probably maybe would have still taken that opportunity. But there is a little bit of reflection that I kind of was a little bit pissed off that we got out too early, I guess, on the momentum. And there was a little bit of that revenge type of a thing that, oh, I still want to be in the money. And I guess since we're too late to get in on the short, since we exited on the short, the next best thing was to get in on a long. But anyway, that was a nice L that we took there. Then obviously we waited. I think we had some sells that didn't get triggered over there. We were trying to ride this continuation to the downside, but yeah, that is what it is. That brings us over to the last positions that we ended up taking. Obviously, the most recent updates that I've given you guys over on Instagram is this long position that we're still currently holding right now. We've managed the trade at that resistance over there, and we did take a L on a potential scale in. So as a reflection for the week, just basically the numbers on our trades. Obviously, our first two, those small trades, were nice winners. Then we took 3 L's in a row. We took two nice W's there. We took 1 L, and then this 1 R over here is, I mean, this minus 1 R is for the scale in, and this plus 1 R is for the position that we are currently holding. Obviously, we managed our position. I have closed 1 R of this trade now. So obviously, we're still going to wait to see what happens there. That brings us obviously to a total of plus 12 R for the trading month. So that's been our performance obviously over this month. I'm going to redo, obviously delete everything. We'll redo this for the next month, obviously reevaluate, see what we did, what we obviously maybe just talk about just the positions. But then again, what I was hoping to do was to discuss in a way a little bit about my thought processes. I hope I did that to some degree, because I feel like, yeah, we don't really get an opportunity on Instagram with our updates, obviously because we're limited by time, and obviously because we're trying to trade that time. We don't really get an opportunity to kind of discuss exactly like the thought processes behind things, the actual trading processes, and any of that stuff. But otherwise, yeah, I'm gonna do a weekly market forecast. Also, obviously, reevaluating now based off where we are right now, obviously ignoring all the positions that we have on the chart. I'm going to obviously re-update the structure, pay some attention to the current structure, give us some context, and then obviously we'll have some plans for the next trading week. So otherwise, yeah, hopefully this was somewhat of an insightful recap. I'm still trying to low key avoid showing you guys my my prop firm account. On the prop firm account, I am actually up 8% now. So this 12R on my prop firm account is reflective of 8%. So yeah, hopefully that keeps on going okay. Yeah, we'll give you those updates when those updates are necessary. For now, as long as we're still doing phase processes and whatever else, it's not really important. I think I will give you guys an update when we do eventually start trading a live account on the prop firm account. But till then, yeah, we're still busy with phases. So anyway, yeah, cheers.